I am thrilled to be joined here by Mamta, the General Manager at Yellow, Dubai's leading branding agency. Mamta is here to share her insight on personal branding, from strategy to execution and everything in between. Mamta, let's start with the big one. We always chasing likes and follows for our personal brand, but what really goes beyond that to build your personal brand?
Everyone knows the importance of building a personal brand, especially I feel like in a city like Dubai, which is quite small. So you really have the opportunity, if you know your niche and if you know your audience, to really stand out and be known for something. So starting out, especially, too many people get hooked on like how many people are engaging and how many people are liking and my number of followers and things like that. But instead of that, I think people should just stay consistent with it, because if you stay consistent with it and you have a very clearly defined audience, very clearly defined area of expertise, the followers will come, the likes will come, and the engagement will come. You just have to stick with it and not place too much emphasis on it, especially in the beginning. Because there's a big difference between creating a personal brand and wanting to become an influencer.
So you saying that we need to ignore the matrix and only focus on consistency, on
Correct.
authenticity of the brand.
100%. I think that when people try to embody a personal brand that doesn't fit with their values, with their area of expertise, with their skills, with their knowledge, everyone is very savvy. We watch a lot of content on a daily basis. We can spot someone trying and someone genuinely being themselves. So, definitely, authenticity is really important. And I think another mistake people make is that when they focused on creating a personal brand, their topic and their audience is way too broad. And I don't think that that should be the case. I think you should really zero in on this is my group, my core group that I will speak to, and how do they want me to show up. That is true to me as well, you know?
Often reach out to our agency, and when they're looking for personal brand, they're asking me for the right colors, the logo, and all the different things that normally goes into the, let's say, corporate branding. What is the true process of building a personal brand from the agency perspective?
So I definitely think that you need to start with a strategy. So if you're working with an agency versus yourself versus trying to work this out yourself, you need to start with defining these are the topics that interest me and that I have the right kind of expertise, the right kind of knowledge in. These are the people that I will speak to. This is my personality, how I want to dress, look, speak, my tone of voice. I think it's a really good exercise to do a brand archetype for a personal brand as well. I'm still defining mine.
Yeah.
It's between two.
What,
But,
what are those?
so I think I am a creator archetype and also a rebel archetype. But I think everyone wants to be a rebel, so
100%.
with just a touch of rebel. So, but predominantly, I would say I'm a creator, brand archetype. And I think once you know all of those different elements, then you start looking into okay, so if my tone of voice and my brand archetype is this, that means my feed should look like this. But without doing that foundational work, everything else again is superficial. Again, it's not going to feel true to you, it's not going to feel true to your audience, it's not going to work. So
Yeah.
we start with strategy always.
I also heard another exercise that you need to think what people talk about you the moment you
Yes.
exit the room, right?
Yes,
Or what people
100%.
will say at your funeral. It's the other way.
Exactly. Yeah, I saw that too. I think that for people, that's why I said for people working with an agency versus
Yeah.
people doing it on their own, if people are trying to work out what their personal brand is and want to do that like work themselves, it's also a good idea to ask your friends, how do you describe me when you're talking about me to a random person, to
Yeah.
a stranger? You know, and pick up what are the recurring words. Because the thing is, we can't be objective about ourselves, but our closest friends will tell it to us like it is. So I think that that's a really good exercise as well, because then you can be like, I think I stand for this, but I show up like this,
Yeah.
you know? So this is what I need to focus on. I think that's a really good exercise. I should do that too.
I did that in the beginning, and then I was thinking, okay, how There's a way people present me,
Yeah.
and there's a way that I want to be known for.
For.
And those are.
And what's the gap?
There was a big gap.
Okay, okay. So,
So
you're working towards
it's
like I'm known for this. This is
exactly.
what I want to be known for. So how do I
Yeah.
cross that
Knowing
line?
the problem, it solves half of the.
Yeah, true.
There is another question I keep hearing from clients that they keep on asking from the for the ROI. Because they're investing money, they're investing their time, they're investing so much effort into building personal brand, and they really, at the end of the day, we all want to get like a tangible, return
Result, yeah.
from all this work.
For ROI, the best way to demonstrate it is through examples. And I would say one of the biggest personal brands from this region that has gone global is Huda Katan with her Huda Beauty brand as well. She started with a very strong personal brand about doing makeup tutorials and things like that, and then got into launching her products. And she had already built an audience. This audience already trusted her. And then she kept delivering on that promise consistently, and it's a global brand. So that is an example of ROI with personal brand. But the reason it's worked is because she didn't deviate from what her core expertise was. She didn't put on a different outfit and show up like that to people. I'm very impressed by her, by Mona Katan. I think they've built a really, really great brand for themselves. I love the idea of brands almost being exported from this region globally
Yeah.
rather than the other way around. So, for anybody that asks it, I think it's important to set expectations that it takes time.
Yeah.
It definitely takes time. I mean, to be honest, I'm experimenting with different things. I have a podcast that's focused on entrepreneurship. I focus on LinkedIn and Instagram. And as much as possible, I try and do like moderation at panels and things like that. I still haven't found which platform is the platform of focus. I'm playing around with it. And I think people need to experiment and stick with it in order to be able to see the ROI. Another example is for Gary Vaynerchuk. And he's built a massive personal brand that people just trust him. When people think of content and content repurposing and a very strong, authentic, loud voice, they think of Gary Vaynerchuk. To become a person or a personal brand that occupies a space in someone's mind is massive. That means that they will buy from you. That means that they'll value your opinions. That means that you can build an audience that even if you deviate from your niche, they'll still be your audience. You have Logan Paul, who's a massive YouTuber, who launched Prime, a beverage. Not related at all. But Prime was doing incredibly well because he already had his loyalists. So the ROI depends quite a bit on your determination, your consistency, your tenacity, and your level of focus.
Yeah.
But you definitely have to give it time.
So it doesn't matter what kind of niche you're having, you still can get to your ROI.
100%.
Personal brand.
100%. But also, I don't think that the focus, especially starting out, should be on ROI, should be on the likes and engagement and stuff, because everyone needs to keep enough time for learning and experimenting as well. And seeing what is starting to gain traction and utilizing those insights. That's what social is great for.
Mamta, how do you balance authenticity with a need for growth when it comes to social media and personal branding?
So, personally, my objective is authenticity rather than growth. I hope the growth will come. But for a lot of people who are focused on growth, they will try to put on different characters, play with different formats, understand the algorithm, do a lot of testing, and just hop on trends as they come and things like that. Whereas for me, I prefer to just be consistent and authentic. So I have a very different voice when it comes to Instagram. My Instagram and my peers and my community there, not a very big one, but I believe an
But loyal
engaged
one.
one and a loyal one, I think. So my Instagram is all about me experimenting with fitness and me showing up to the gym. And it's been a really big part of my lifestyle, especially since I had my baby girl. When I got into it, like 6 months after delivery, I've just kind of stuck with it. And somehow for me, I post about showing up to the gym and my post workout picture as a way to be accountable. So while it's for an audience, it's for me.
Yeah.
So I think that that's the best kind of content, right? Like it's like when it helps you stay on track, it helps you stay consistent, and you're like, if I get the likes, great. If I don't, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's part of my habit loop now. That's how I show up on Instagram. But the way I show up on LinkedIn is very different, where I'm predominantly focused on what we do at Yellow. So I am speaking about branding, marketing, communications, content, etc. And the other topic that I focus on LinkedIn is culture. I really value the culture that we've built in Yellow. And the reason I post for it on LinkedIn is so that I can recruit really top tier talent, you know? So I think of it like your personal branding can be a box, but the way you'd show up to a party at your best friend's place where you can rock up in pajamas and just be like chill.
That's your Instagram.
And that's my Instagram. It's my hood, you know? And then the way you show up to like a little bit more of a formal, I wouldn't say LinkedIn is like black tie, but a little bit more of a formal networking event and stuff.
Yeah.
You are going to present different sides of yourself. So it doesn't have to be that I have to be consistent and draw a line across each individual platform. They're different parties, and I'm bringing different sides to myself to these parties. So I'm focused predominantly on consistency and a little bit outlay around with trends, but my focus is that growth will eventually come. And I have been presented with opportunities. This is an opportunity for me to highlight what I stand for, to collaborate with, you know, someone I've known for so many years as well. And opportunities do come up. So you just stick with it.
That was an incredible discussion. Thank you so much, Mamta, for shedding light on personal brand. It's clear that personal brand goes beyond likes and follows, and that what it really requires to build one is authenticity, creating and lasting connections with your followers, and staying consistent.
100%.
Joining us
Anytime.
today at Detox.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. I really enjoyed the conversation.
See you the next episode.
See ya.